to a very special, the Superstar edition of the BCP. Super excited right now to welcome in, ahead of his match February 18th in Butler, New Jersey, defending his ISPW World Heavyweight title against Scotty to Hotty. Tickets are still available. Shameless promo. Please welcome him, a former ECW World Tag Team Champion, a former WrestlePro Tag Team Champion. The list goes on. And right now, the reigning, current, defending ISPW World Heavyweight title holder. Please welcome in the Superstar Danny Morrison, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Morrison, thanks for your time, man. How are you?
Yeah, thank you so much, brother.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, guys. Great name. I'm finally glad that we got our schedules linked up so we could do this thing. So, yeah, man, I'm good. I'm psyched, man. I'm pumped.
You're a busy man. Yeah, we were talking to Tommy. We worked with Tommy with 80s Wrestling Con. Tommy doing some great things. Shameless promo. Guys, check out the show. He said, you want to interview some of our guys? I said, we want Danny Morrison right off the gate. So thank you for making the time. We want the champ defending against Scotty to Hotty February 18th. Your thoughts going in this one against Scotty?
I mean, I think I'm the only heel in the wrestling business right now that's not backing down from any challenges. So yeah. It's a role where I'm not the chicken crap heel or as you say, I'm taking on everybody and I'm going at everybody. And I feel like just a rejuvenated kind of sense of myself where I can just kind of awesome. Fiero's let me be creative with just me being me for the first time and not playing a character or going during the normal guidelines of what a heel is supposed to be. I'm just kind of just doing, this is more of an offshoot of back when I played semi-pro football before I got into wrestling. I was just I was 145, 150 pounds of just the most trash talking, conceited, yeah. I'm going to rub it in your face guy. And there's nothing you can do about it. And that's what I'm doing now in wrestling. It's great. And it's, going to this thing in February 18th with Scotty to Hotties. There's a lot of things, I'm not taking it for granted. That's the most thing. That's first and foremost, I'm not taking anything for granted. I've seen him on the internet. I've seen what he's been doing since he's been let go or since he's requested his release. He looks great. He looks amazing. And I'm working to make sure that I can go toe to toe, blow for blow, and step for step with him. So it's not something I'm taking for granted. I know who he is. I know his regimen. I know his accolades. All of that. But it's also my birthday weekend that weekend. And
happy early birthday.
It's gonna be a party, guys. It's gonna be a party, and we're gonna find out what happens when a worm goes up against a Danaconda on February 18th.
The Danaconda! I love it. That's the headline right there. That's your marquee, ladies and gentlemen. I love it. I did want to talk about you working with Maven. It's so cool to kind of see him back in some form or fashion. Talk about working with Maven, what that's like for you.
Yeah, man, it was something that Tommy Fiero brought over. He's like, hey, man, he goes, I kind of see this thing with you and Maven. What do you think about it? Let's roll with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's funny because we have a common denominator where we both have that Taz common denominator. Taz worked on Tough Enough that first season. And of course I was trained by Taz, who's my trainer when I started. And it's kind of it's a weird camaraderie where we just met not too long ago, but it feels like I've known him a lot longer. So we've kind of got that groove going where it just works, man. And it's just a cool thing to do something that's organic and just works. So I actually just talked to Maven the other day. He just called me up about something. So we're just kicking ideas back and forth. Just had a conversation, which was, it's cool. It's cool to kind of connect with somebody that you've seen through the business and everything. And now you guys are working together. And it's just been one of those really cool kind of things, man. And it's like ISPW has been it's a breath of fresh air, not just in wrestling for me, but for in my life. And it's just something I needed. I forgot, between being a coach and a dad and all this other stuff, I forgot that I'm, pretty good at this. And that's me being humble. I'm amazing at this. And I forgot that for a long time. And it took Tommy Fiero and ISPW and all this to remind me that this is still fun. It can be fun. And it's been like a breath of fresh air in my life. It's been awesome.
Wow, very well said.
That's really great to hear,
right
man. That's great to hear, because we were going to ask you about how how have you been able to keep wrestling the longevity for this long? Like a lot of you guys from the original ECW, you guys are still wrestling at and not only wrestling, but guys look great and at a high level as well. Like, how have you been able to keep it up?
I'm 35, my knees hurt. I live at the 3-point line. Like, come on.
Oh, it's funny. I've been, I've been pretty like athletic, and I learned through the years from different people and how to keep up my body. So like, I learned different lessons from like a guy like a Stevie Richards, who was his regiment was like, stretching and yoga. And I started incorporating a lot of that into my daily routine. That's kept me along. And a guy like Crowbar, who's doing it, we're the same age, and, he's a physical therapist. So he's got all these tricks of the trades and he's very, and it's something that like, I don't need to do, monetarily, but it's something that I love professional wrestling. We all do. You know what I mean? We all came up, we're fans of whatever genre we came up in, whether you're a wrestler, a manager, a referee, a podcaster, a wrestling journalist, we all love this business. So, we're all fans first and foremost. And I wouldn't do this if I didn't love it. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where I just took the booking, went to wrestle with Little Guido. Because I was like, you can't go wrong. ISPW has their first show. He puts me against Little Guido, who's been one of my favorite opponents of all time.
Yeah, I love Guido.
You get to wrestle somebody that you admire and you respect, and it's going to be a fun time, and that you're safe. And it just felt awesome. You know what I mean? It was just this awesome feeling to be out in front of, and you got to remember too, like, we're coming out of the pandemic, and it's COVID, and people are wrestling, just to be in front of people again and to connect with people. And that those people kind of needed that connection too. So like, they've been in the house, and you're talking about wrestling in empty arenas. Now there's people out at a show, and you're connecting with them. And I think mentally, from everybody's mental health, it's good for the wrestlers, and it's good for the fans to connect with people, to go somewhere and just kind of have that outlet. You know what I mean? To have a fun, safe, family friendly, sorry for the family friendly, like situation where you guys can just kind of go out there and just have fun with each other, man. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I love that, man. And ISPW, like you said it over and over again, a family man yourself, a very like strong family vibe, like more than I've seen anywhere really. On
a lot of kids in the crowd.
Kids at the entrance,
the kids at the entrance crowd had us going. Like they were really different. Funny how they follow you around.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Oh, they hate me. Oh,
yeah. It's great. But how did you link up with Tommy initially, and what does it mean to get that tap on the shoulder to be the guy for his company?
Well, I knew Tommy through the years, and when I was in ECW, he was running, and we talked about this a lot ad nauseum almost. He ran the Wildwood Convention Center almost every week, and I'm a big Wildwood guy. I don't know where you guys. If you guys are Jersey Shore guys,
Freehold.
Yeah, Freehold. So about like hour and a half from here, probably.
Yeah, it's about that. Yeah, so I think that was my place. So like my first independent show, the first place me and Roadkill ever tagged together was against the FBI in Wildwood. My first independent show after ECW was in Wildwood. So me and Big Sal would get off the plane during the summertime. We'd go check out Tommy's shows down in Wildwood. Just because, we were going down to hang out and party and whatever, and we would check out some wrestling shows and hang out. So I knew Tommy a little bit from then, but afterwards he ran some ISPW shows. I want to say 2010-ish. I'm not sure, maybe around that circa that time. And I did some shows then, so we were familiar with each other, but we it was more of a business thing. I was local. He needed a local guy. Came in, did whatever. But like this next thing, he was just like, man, you and Guido really went out there. You guys didn't just play the hits. You guys worked. I was like, yeah, man, because it's fun to go out there with a guy and test each other a little bit. And Guido's going to shoot on you right off the get go because that's what he does. I just want to see some guy.
Yeah.
And Tommy was a fan of that. And he goes, oh, man, dude, he goes, that was awesome. So then, we did the next one and we hit it out of the park again. He goes, dude, I could tell you're having a good time with this. I go, I am, man. I really do. And I appreciate it because you let me, kind of pick my opponents, or he would go over who he'd want he could see me working with. And he would ask me if I liked that idea. And so we kind of went back and forth. We kind of developed a little bit of a camaraderie where it's more of less of a business relationship and more of a on a personal level, which is cool when you can, and to work with Bull James, who I've known forever, is been, I'm working with guys that I know, I'm comfortable with, and we're just having a good time. And I think, I like to think that we're telling a hell of a story with the Bull James story, and some things that if people are followers of the ISPW product may not get, that Bull James has yet to actually win a match in ISPW despite being the champion, and I have yet to lose a match in ISPW. So it's a good story building up if you really get into it and peel back the layers, where me and Bull are really trying to do something where we're telling a story and we're getting people involved and they want to come to the next show to see what the next layer is going to be. And I think that's been a lot of fun too, to turn the athletic contest into a drama and do something that people really can get into and sink their teeth into and follow on an independent level, which I think is lacking. A lot of guys want to go out there and just show their physical attributes and all the great stuff that they could do athletically and the flips. And I think a lot of times, and it's not a knock on anybody, but I think a lot of times that gets lost in translation, where people, they like to see that stuff, but I think they also want to be included in a story and be involved and connect. And I think that's what we offer them. And let all those young kids do the flips, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get that. Very well said. In fact, because we're big proponents of the indie scene here on the BCP, and a lot of the guys come in that are hungry, sophomore, freshmen in the business right now. Like, they want that long-term feud. So that was beautifully said. Who in that ISPW locker room do you see either that you want to work with that you haven't worked with yet, or someone you just see that, like, this kid, this guy, this girl, they have it? Like, is there anyone you got your eye on?
There's a lot of kids in that locker room I've seen for a long time and I've known for a long time. And, I've been around Justin Carino now for probably about a decade, and Nikos Ricos, they're, really good guys. And I had to really go up and down the roster to go through everybody there. The plant kid who's with the vegan.
Oh, we just had him on, Leo Sparrow.
Leo Sparrow.
Leo Sparrow. Yeah, he chopped me in the Bull James match, but I pitched a couple ideas to Tommy about working with some guys down the road. We're gonna figure it out, but right now, like I said, I'm focused on Scotty to Hotty, and we'll go from there. But yeah, up and down the locker room, there's and that's what Tommy does. He brings in a slew of talent that some of the local up and comers that have a real shot to do something in the business, and you got your veterans, and then you got it's a healthy mix of everything, which is great, which is what you need, because the younger kids keep you on your toes as a veteran, and you can help them kind of slow things down too, and teach them a couple of things too. So on their ascend up to hopefully achieving their dreams of professional wrestling, it's a good spot for everybody at this point of their careers.
Very well said, man. And like we keep saying here, obviously a family man first, always wanting to give back to the business. We are also giving back to the community. You were telling us off air that you just came back from teaching youth football or coaching youth football. Tell us a little bit about that.
I'm currently in my office right now for the youth football program. I coach youth football like a Pop Warner, but it's my son's league. I got involved with that a couple of years ago. I coach a couple of flag leagues for kids under 10, a couple of flag leagues for kids over 15, and I coach at the high school in here around here. We're going into our fourth season there. So I'm pretty much football 24/7, which is my favorite sport, and I love being around it. And yeah, so another thing is I dedicate a lot of my time to things that I actually love. So between football and pro wrestling, I'm pretty blessed to be involved and to still make money at professional wrestling, and to be a paid football coach, and to have people, and it's crazy. Ever since this whole thing started, man, it's like interview requests and bookings, and it's hard for me to take a lot of the bookings, because I don't frankly have the time, to leave. Yeah. I would love to go back and do some of the things, when I was on the road as a young kid, every weekend, where am I going to be this weekend? Where am I going to be that weekend? I just don't have the time, unfortunately. And there's a lot of bookings that I had to decline just because I just don't have the time. But it's not to say that I don't want to take them or I don't want to do them. I just don't have the time. Physically, tip top. So I can do the schedule. I just don't really have the time. And, between, and I don't want to neglect, because there's a lot of kids here, youth kids and kids, between the ages of like 10 to 18 who depend on us as coaches too. So like I try to spread my time out, diligently to everything. So, but at the same time,
that's amazing to hear.
It's fun to do. It's fun to coach. It's fun to be in that situation, but it's also amazing to be back wrestling at least, once or twice a month, which has been great. And I'm on a hell of an undefeated streak too. So I don't think I lost a match in 2021, which is, I'll be 48.
Nice.
I'll be 48.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be a 48-year-old man in about 2 weeks.
Good for you, man.
I was about to say, you don't look it, brother.
Yeah, good for you.
Thank you. Yeah, man. I'm trying, man.
Who you got in the can I say Super Bowl? Superb Bowl. Who you got in the big game?
Yeah, who you got in the Super Bowl? Who you going for?
I'm a Cowboys fan.
Oh, well, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Nah, he's a Giants fan. I'm a Packers fan, so it's all good. NFC here.
Well, by the process of elimination, because Odell was a Giant, I have to go with Joe Burrow and the Bengals.
That's fair. I respect that. Fair. I'm kind of rooting against Odell too. Is that weird? Yeah.
Yeah. No, not at all. Not at all. But yeah. I just, you're on paper, the Rams should beat them by 10 points. They should. I mean, what Joe Burrow's done and Jamar Chase with no offensive line whatsoever is, like you can't root him out. You just can't.
Yeah, you really can't.
So, yeah. No.
So I mean, yeah. So I'm Team Bengals this week.
Okay.
That's a great choice, man. It should be a really good game. Nunez, I know you've been waiting to ask this question, man. Go ahead.
No, so like I said to you before, one of my best friends and I, shout out to John, childhood friend, he introduced me to ECW. So that's one of the things that we bonded over as kids. And like I said to you before, we were big fans of you and Roadkill. We loved your matches with Nova and Chris Chetty, with Simon Diamond and Johnny Swinger. So if you could tell us about, what's some of your favorite memories about teaming with Roadkill and some of your favorite memories of ECW in general.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously me and Roadkill met in wrestling school.
Okay.
We were in different classes at the House of Hardcore. So there was a lot of people went through there, probably over 1,000 people.
Wow.
And 4 of us graduated. So the odds of making it out weren't good, but we were in separate classes. And finally we got into, we got in the same classes together. So it was me, him, and Chris. And eventually we got put into Team Taz. That was the entry level position. And I'd be lying if you would have went into a time machine back then and asked me if I would still be talking to or friendly with either Chris Chetty or Roadkill. I would have called you a liar. When I tell you the 3 of us despised each other, it's pretty accurate. And then we got put on the road. Yeah, and then through the years, me and Chris talk at least once a week, and me and Roadkill talk about once a week, and we have.
That's really cool to hear.
And I see Roadkill a couple times a year. We actually meet at Crowbar's house. We have little soirees over there because Crowbar's got basically like a nice little compound set up for himself with a nice pool. So through being around each other so much, we kind of bonded. But at the same time, like I said, it's like a brother thing. Like we're around each other so much. There's a couple times you got to put your hands up and just like, I need space, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we were working. Tracy Smothers, God rest his soul, would do.
Rest in peace.
He would do in-ring workouts for 2 or 3 hours before the show. So we would show up. We would set up the ring. We would do these workouts because they weren't mandatory, but you didn't want to disappoint Tracy. And so me and Roadkill were working in the ring. We worked a tag match with 2 guys who were trying just to get looked at. And, Paul Heyman and Taz and all those guys, they kind of saw, and they're like, those guys got chemistry together. So let's throw them together on the show, which was in Wildwood. And then it became a thing where we were actually going to do a gimmick where he was a creek walking backwards Louisiana kind of, I don't know, weirdo.
Yeah.
And I was going to be known as Dirk Doring because Boogie Nights had just come out. Boogie Nights.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
So that was where the Danny Doring sexual innuendo kind of thing came from, but it was supposed to be Dirk Doring. We were going to run with the porn star gimmick. Lo and behold, not too long after that, I'm talking like that week, Val Venus debuts.
Okay, gotcha.
So we
can't do that.
we'll just go with Danny and just do, just be an over the top, gigolo type, cocky little in that. And I just drew really a lot of inspiration from people I went to high school with who were, that's who they were. I went to high school during the Guido era, like, just completely slick back hair and just like, too much tanner. And I was like, those guys are getting all the chicks and I'm getting none of the chicks. But I do a lot of inspiration from that and some other things and kind of just put that character together. And it only really worked because of Roadkill. So, nobody really cares about a 175-pound kid who's just a cocky kid with glasses and he thinks he can get all the chicks. It's kind of lame after a while. But when you got a partner who's Amish and chokes chickens, it's that contrast that made it work. But through the years, we had and me and Chris were best friends too. So those matches with Chris and Nova were great. Even though
we love those matches.
Roadkill and Nova, a lot of I don't want to say animosity, but there was a lot of friction there.
I gotcha.
But you can't take a fire without a little friction, right?
There you go. Yeah.
And Simon Springer and the Baldies and C.W. Anderson and Bill Wild. But through the years, and me and Roadkill will say this, and we agree on it. It was the team of Mama Luke and Guido that was easily the best chemistry that we had with a team, hands down. And I can never ever thank little Guido enough for a lot of things. Like he was just really through the years of how generous him and Tracy Smothers and Mama Luke and Sal and all those guys were with their work. And in a selfish business, to be as unselfish as they are was pretty great. Was pretty amazing and commendable. So I can never thank him enough for the 20 something years of working with the guy.
Yeah. That's still so amazing to hear.
Very well said. Mr. Morrison, I did want to ask you this one. This is from our friend, the Andy Smart, part of the show, couldn't be here today. He wanted to ask, the Danaconda, best name ever, character was so similar to what we saw of Jersey Shore and early Zack Ryder. Do you feel that it was ahead of its time?
It's funny because I'm a Jersey Shore guy. I couldn't wait when I started getting a push on TV to shove that celebrity into to go down to the shore and walk around, you know what I mean, and be known. And I lived that dream, you know what I mean. I was that guy, that guy you saw on MTV. The only thing is, at the time, there was so many guys East Coast oriented in ECW. That's why they branched me out from Ohio, because they wanted to make it a little bit more spread out. But I would have loved to have been hailed from the Jersey Shore at that time. But we had a Bam Bam Bigelow who was Asbury Park. And, So, but when I was not in an ECW ring, I could be seen on the boardwalk in the clubs of Wildwood, New Jersey, almost every weekend in the summer or weeknight. And I would always bring a special celebrity guest with me, like a Big Sal or Chris Chetty, or, we got Dreamer out a couple times. And so, that was like to be, 22, 23 years old and being, top dog and anywhere you went. And making a lot of enemies because, you get a lot of female attention.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever been to a shore club, but there's guys that aren't getting any female attention at last call. They're looking to fight somebody.
Yeah.
I was all too happy to be that guy. Like to be that guy that was like, yeah, I'm the reason why you're going home by yourself.
Yeah.
But
always a heel. Yeah.
Always a heel.
I love it. I do want to bring this up. In fact, let's do it now. I do want to be very respectful of your time, and thank you again for.
Thank you so much.
No, I'm good, man. I'm good.
Good.
I'm good till 4:30 tomorrow morning.
I love it. Don't tell me that.
Yes.
Can we hit you with your Jersey? You are hailing from New Jersey. You are a New Jersey guy, legit.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can we hit you with the Jersey rapid fire round real quick?
Let's do it. Pork
roll or Taylor ham? This is a big one.
Pork roll.
Yes,
finally. A lot of people said Taylor ham. We're like, why? No, stop it.
My guy. I like this guy. Bruce or Bon Jovi?
Can't stand either of them.
Okay. That's actually a lot of the answers.
Wow.
I that's not fair to say. I can't say I can't stand either of them. I'm not not a Bon Jovi fan. I wasn't a glam guy. I was more of a 80s metal guy. So I was kind of anti-glam. So I guess I had to go with blues. Just, I guess, because of the wrestler song, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I gotcha. What is the favorite pizza spot?
In New Jersey?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it's in New York, isn't it?
No.
Okay.
I'm a Jersey Keith. Yeah. There's a place actually right by my house. It's got an 8-8 on Portnoy's app. So the one bite app. So yeah,
love Portnoy.
House in Rawway, not too far from me. It's kind of it's like a bar pie right now. That's my spot. But there's a couple of them. There's a bunch of stuff down the shore area I would love to try. And I think there's a bunch in Freehold that's been they got amazing Freehold pizzas out there. Like I think there's a Romeo's or something. I'm not sure, Romeo's. But there's a couple of them out there that like I'm not a huge pizza connoisseur, but that I would go with the one right by my house, 8-8.
All right, and I got to ask you this one: favorite diner? We're known for our diners.
Oh, it was a place right by my house called the Rio. I was a Rio guy. The Rio, in Woodbridge, New Jersey.
Oh, I work by there. Okay, I know where Rio is. Yeah, I've been there. It's so good.
I'm a Woodbridge. I live in Woodbridge. So
I work in Port Reading.
Okay, yeah, I'm actually in Port Reading right now. This is where the football
is. Small world. Oh, that's crazy, man. I wanted to ask the sports teams, but we know Dallas Cowboys. How about like baseball, hockey, NBA, any of that?
Lakers.
Really?
When I was a kid, Jordans had just come out, the first Jordans, like the OG Jordans, right?
Yeah.
So everybody in school had them. My mother couldn't afford them. Single mom. So what I got was Magic Johnson Converse weapons with a VHS tape. Put Magic in your game, and that's how I learned to play basketball, from Magic Johnson VHS tape.
That is amazing. Yeah. I need to look that up.
I still have those weapons. So
nice.
That's why I'm a Laker fan, because of that. So, and obviously I'm a huge Kobe fan. Baseball, I'm a Royals fan, and that's I'm not really big into hockey. I kayfabe heel hockey fans, not because I hate the sport, just because it's so easy to get under their skin.
It really is. It really is.
Good at what you do. That's amazing.
Yeah, all you gotta do is tell a hockey fan that a football player is a far more superior athlete than them, and it's just
okay. You're going there. Okay, I gotcha.
Fantastic.
Always a heel. I love it. I did want to ask you this one. We were talking about Zack Ryder earlier. I'm sure you saw this. Now Matt Cardona making his way around the Indies, just a king everywhere he's going right now. Obviously beating Rhino for the ECW TV belt, and kind of dishonoring it, throwing it in a trash can. Now I believe you are the last man to hold the one half of the ECW Tag Team Championships. So your thought on what Cardona did, and would you think about maybe defending those tag team championships down the line, because it's a thing?
Well, first off, he's got these students. I don't know if you ever heard of them. They're called the Shook Crew. They're once once led by Max Caster, who is now part of the Acclaim.
Platinum
creative pro guys. Sounds like.
Very, very talented guys, and they literally challenged me and Roadkill on Twitter to the ECW Tag Championships at least once a week. The one kid, he's in the hospital. He's in the hospital right now, Bryce Donovan. I told him, I said, if you get better, maybe I could talk to Big Amishman to come out of retirement, defend those titles for you.
Okay.
It's a tall task. Roadkill is happily retired. But yeah, man, like we've had people come at us for years to come out and do something, even WrestleMania weekend, and
that's so cool.
Like that. But with Roadkill, it's more of a he broke his neck, and
I'll do it. Yeah,
it's one of those things where if I would love to do it, it'd be great to get in the ring with him again. But the last time we did 2012 for Tommy Dreamer's House of Hardcore against the FBI, and he seemed happy with walking out on that note. And I would never want to do anything to jeopardize his overall health or his life.
Exactly.
Care about that. But if it's something that he came to me with, I'd totally be down with it. So it's like I said, never say never, but it's, right now I'm just kind of doing my thing.
Very, very well said. And I did want to ask you this one, obviously a big proponent here of the independent talent. Sometimes you see some of these newer guys struggling to connect with the fans, struggling to get heat from the fans. What would you have? What advice would you have for some of these up and comers right now?
Just repetition, man, because we were those kids, we were those kids coming up, and we thought that anything that we, any spot we got on an ECW show, we had to give you every high spot we could think of, and that's just kind of what it was. So it was one of those things where we were those kids coming up, and I think just over time, just gotta kind of things slow down, and you learn that you can do when you get more exposure, you can do less. So like when you're trying to jump off, you got to show them everything you got. But once you get known, you can kind of peel that curtain back and slow things down and look at somebody in the crowd and make eye contact with them and let them know that you're not gonna, you can connect with that person. I think that just comes with time and repetition. And of course, you got to have an open ear too, because like a lot of young guys, they know everything, but there are a lot more that will ask for your opinion on a match or anything. Like there's a kid, Anthony Green, who I think is awesome. And
retro Anthony Green,
alternative.
Every time I'm on a show, he goes, could you please watch my match? And it's like, that blows me away that somebody thinks enough of me to have to value my opinion. So if anybody ever asks me, dude, I'm definitely going to watch it, and I'm going to give you an honest opinion, because that just means a lot to me that you care about my opinion, so, I think that's one of the things too, where, you got a lot of guys that are eager to learn, and to be honest, you got a lot more at your fingertips now. When I was a kid, you had to find a VHS tape, Now you just pop into YouTube. You can, I could watch tape on opponents any day of the week. And I think that's a very important thing for at a wrestler's fingertips, to be able to scout an opponent that they might not have ever met, and they can watch their whole match set. And you can go to I'll go to a show. I'm working with a kid I never met, and I'm like, can you do this, this, and this that you did in this match? And they'll be like, you watch that? I'm like, yeah, man. I'm a pro's pro. I'm a student of the game. I watch as much stuff as I can. So, it's a cool thing right now. I think it's a cool time to be in the business. I think it's, and there's so many places to go and work and apply your trade if you're a young wrestler. And it's one of those things that I keep plugging away. A lot of kids just, there's a lot of places to go right now. So if anybody ever asks me to watch a match, damn right, I'm going to watch it.
Very, very well said. And last one from me, you've worked all over the place. You're killing it right now. You face so many opponents, ECW, face the likes of Punk, Angle, so many people. Now we're living in a world where forbidden doors are open. There's so much opportunity, really, even through a pandemic era. It's been crazy. What are the goals for you moving forward?
My goal is to not have a goal. So, I've exceeded almost, I'm really trying to not sound like arrogant or cocky, but
you earned it.
Yeah, very well deserved.
I've exceeded every goal. Thank you. I've exceeded every goal that I've set for myself in life. I mean, and the biggest thing is I feel like a lot of people should gain, and anything you do, not just professional wrestling, anything you do is gain more confidence and drive and ambition from the people who doubt you than the people who who support you. And I remember more of the people who've doubted me my whole life than I remember people who support me, which is an unfair thing, but at the same time, that's what drives me. I want to prove this person wrong. And I think that should apply in all things, not just wrestling, but in life and work and business and whatever it is you're trying to do. There's going to be somebody, and a lot of the people who support you really don't support you. You got a lot of people who are like, kayfabe, on the DL haters, you're killing it out there, man. But they're watching TV hoping you get released. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of that. And I think that's an important thing to have. You need to have that. And it was a big thing because, people who knew me as a kid in high school knew that I loved professional wrestling. And I think it really bothered a lot of people that I made it to the level I did. And then there's always gonna be somebody that says, that's going to judge you by how your character was written in WWE. Well, you were a WWE job guy. Well, say what you want, but there's a lot of guys that would, if you call that a failure, there's a lot of guys in wrestling that would love to have my failure as their success.
Kill to be in that spot.
So, you're the words couldn't, my skin is so thick when it comes to that. So when it comes to my legacy, that's for literally everybody else to decide what that is. And as long as, the people who generally know me or met me, think that I'm a good guy. I really don't care about anybody else's opinion. I never have. If I did, I never would have put on a pair of boots. You know what I mean? And I think that's important to just, if there's something that you want to do, whatever that is, I think that you should go for it, because you're only on this roller coaster once, and you shouldn't live your life based on what other people set up for you. If you want to be a dentist, be the best dentist you could be. If you want to be a car salesman, whatever it is, just go and be it. And like Kevin Garnett said, anything is possible, right?
Yeah.
So that's my biggest takeaway is if I listened to anybody that doubted me, I would have just given up. And so just me having my first ECW match against Taz in Indiana, Pennsylvania in 1997 was a success for me. Everything after that was gravy. And here I am 25 years later, actually, 25 years later, still doing it.
Good for you.
So, and that's my thing is, man, just do what you want to do, be who you want to be. Don't let anybody else tell you different. And so my goals now, whatever, whatever comes my way is just cherry on the sundae right now. So whatever I do from this point on, I'm with it, man. It's, sky's the limit. So I never say never to anything. So wherever I go, whatever it is, if I have my last match against Scotty do Hotty, which is very highly unlikely, then I'm good with it. But if I'm never going to retire. So I'm just going to fade away. So I'm never going to have a retirement tour. I'm never going to have well, guys, this is it. It's once I stop working, I'm just going to stop working. I'm going to do it as long as I can. And I get that from one of my mentors, Tommy Dreamer, who seems to be just never going to, he's going to probably.
He just popped up at WrestlePro.
Yeah, we just saw him on WrestlePro on Friday.
He's somehow going to come out of the grave and wrestle another match. You know what I mean? Like and he gets that from Terry Funk. So,
it makes sense now.
Yeah. So if you love what you're doing, do it for as long as you want to do it. And nobody should tell you, like Tom Brady, who's got the right to tell anybody anything when they should walk away.
Yeah.
It's not their life. It's there, so that's what I'm going to, when it's over, it's over. I don't have a timestamp on it. It just, once I just stop doing it, I'm going to stop doing it. But I think it's, in my opinion, and I'm not speaking for everybody. It's just, I don't think it's something that it's a decision that you can make. And that's based on actual factual data. How many people actually say they're going to retire and actually retire?
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'm just going to, it's when it's over, it's over.
Wow, very, very well said. That I'm like all inspired now. Really, really well said. Mr. Morrison, thank you so much for a few minutes of your time. But before we get out of here, we're all about that shameless promo here on the BCP. Tell them where they can follow on your socials, get the merch, the 8x10s, all that good stuff.
I think I have a couple shirts on Pro Wrestling Tees, but it's under my alias Sugar Mask, which is a whole nother story.
Okay.
But I don't have any Danny Morrison merch yet. I think maybe that's something me and Tommy Fierro need to sit down and talk about. But socials, man, I only got one. I do the Twitter. It's at Sugar Mask, which is again the aforementioned alias. And at Sugar Mask on Twitter. And I try to get at everybody, I answer any questions people have. I'm pretty good with that, but I don't have the Instagram. I don't have the Snapchats, I have a Facebook set up as Danny Doring, but I don't think I've been on it in 5 years. So Twitter would be the place to get me.
All right. Well, and we appreciate getting you tonight. A few minutes of your time doing great things for the community, youth football, wrestling again, guys. February 18th, ISPW tickets are still available. This guy defending against Scotty too Hotty. Can't wait for that one. Mr. Morrison, thank you so much for your time. Stay safe out there. Continued success moving forward. Thank you for your time.
And thank you for the years of entertainment. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for saying that, man. That's just a huge compliment, man. Like that's why I'm still doing it, because there's guys that love it, watch it, and the fact that I'm doing an interview guys right now just means that we've done something that was very important. And ECW is always be a part of me, and I'm glad that it touched as many lives as it did. I'm sure I'm speaking on the entire roster when I say that. So thank you guys very much.
Of course,
man. I can already tell this guy's gonna be emotional as soon as we're gone. All right, guys, and
come on, get out to the show, man. You gotta get out to the show.
That's it. Thank you, Mr. Morrison. And like we always say here on the BCP, everyone stay safe, stay positive, take care of each other. We out. Peace.